I'm Casey. I'm doing the velocity versus viscosity chapter of Girl Interrupted. Insanity comes in two basic varieties, slow and fast. I'm not talking about onset or duration. I mean the qualities of insanity. The day-to-day business of being nuts. There are a lot of names. Depression, catatonia, mania, anxiety, agitation, they don't tell you much. The predominant quality of the slow form is viscosity. Experience is thick. Perceptions are thickened and dulled. Time is slow, slowly dripping through the clogged filter of thickened perception. The body temperature is low, the pulse is sluggish, the immune system is half asleep, the organism is torpid and brackish. Even the reflexes are diminished, as if your lower leg couldn't be bothered to jerk itself out of its stupor if the knee is tapped. Viscosity occurs in a cellular level, and so does velocity. In contrast to viscosity's velocity endows every platelet and muscle fiber with a mind of its own, a means of knowing and commenting on its own behavior. There's too much perception. And beyond the plethora of perception, there's a plethora of thoughts about having perceptions and about the fact of having perceptions. Digestion could kill you. I mean, the unceasing awareness of the processes of digestion could be enough to exhaust you to death. And digestion is just an involuntary sideline to thinking, and that's where the real trouble begins. Take a thought, anything, it doesn't matter. I'm sitting in front of the nurse's station. I'm tired of sitting in front of the nurse's station. A perfectly reasonable thought. Here's what velocity does to it. First, you break down the sentence. I'm tired. But are you really tired exactly? Is that like sleepy? Then you check all your body parts for sleepiness. And while you're doing that, there's bombardment of images of sleepiness. Head falling onto pillow, head hitting pillow, Weinken, blanken, and nod, little Nemo rubbing the sleep from his eyes, a sea monster. Oh no. If you're lucky, you can avoid the sea monster and go back to sleepiness, back to the pillow. Memories of having mumps at age 5. Sensation of swollen cheeks on pillows and pain on salivation. Stop! Go back to sleepiness. But the salivation notion is too alluring. And now there's an excursion into the mouth. You've been here before and it's bad. It's the tongue. Once you think of the tongue, it becomes an intrusion. Why is the tongue so large? Why is it scratchy on the sides? Is that a vitamin deficiency? Can you remove the tongue? Wouldn't the mouth be a lot less bothersome if it wasn't there? The tongue. Now every cell of the tongue has become enormous. It's a vast, foreign object in the mouth. Trying to diminish the size of the tongue, you focus your attention on its components. The tip, smooth. The back, bumpy. The sides, scratchy, as noted earlier. Vitamin deficiency. The roots, trouble. The tongue has roots. And you can see them. And if you put your finger in your mouth, you can feel them. But you can't feel them with your tongue, which is a paradox. Paradox. The tortoise and the hare. Achilles and the what? The tortoise? The tendon? The tongue? Back to the tongue. Well, you weren't thinking of it. It became smaller. But now you're thinking about it and it becomes big again. Why is it scratchy on the sides? Is that a vitamin deficiency? You've had these thoughts before, but now these thoughts are stuck to your tongue. They've adhered themselves to the existence of the tongue. All of that took less than a minute, and there's still the rest of the sentence to figure out. And all you wanted really was to figure out whether or not to stand up. Viscosity and velocity are opposites, yet they can look the same. Viscosity causes the stillness of disinclination. Velocity causes the stillness of fascination. An observer can't tell if a person is silent and still because their inner life is stalled or because inner life is transfixingly busy. Something common to both is repetitive thought. Experiences seem pre-recorded and stylized. Particular patterns of thought get attached to particular movements and activities, and before you know it, it's impossible to approach that movement or activity without dislodging an avalanche of pre-thought thoughts. A lethargic avalanche of synthetic thought can take days to fall. Part of the mute paralysis of viscosity comes from knowing every detail of what's ahead and having to wait for its arrival. Here comes the I'm no good thought. That takes care of today. All the insistent dripping of I'm no good. The next thought, the next day, is I'm the angel of death. This thought has a glittering expanse of panic behind it, which is unreachable. Viscosity flattens the effervescence of panic. These thoughts have no meaning. They're idiot mantras in a prearranged cycle. I'm no good, I'm the angel of death, I'm stupid, I can't do anything. Thinking the first thought triggers the whole circuit. It's like the flu. First, it's a sore throat, and then inevitably, it's a stuffy nose and a cough. Once, these thoughts must have had meaning. They must have meant what they said. But repetition has blunted them. They've become background music, a Muzak medley of self-hatred themes. Which is worse, overload or underload? Luckily, I never had to choose. One or the other would assert itself, rush or dribble through me, and pass on. Pass on to where? Back into my cells to lurk like a virus waiting for the next opportunity? Out into the ether of the world to wait for circumstances that would provoke its reappearance? Indigenous or exogenous? Nature or nurture? It's the great mystery of mental illness. That's it.
Great, thank you.